Hey guys, from Morgan's Maintenance. Today's Tool Talk is going to be a tool haul Etsy edition. I bought all these things I'm going to talk about today off Etsy. Now, some of these people have some stores of their own, websites of their own that you can go to, like Packable Tools. I bought their stuff, their drawer dividers that I previously had a video for. I got those off Etsy, but he also has his own store that you can get stuff from. And for the most part, all these are going to deal with Packout, but that doesn't mean that, you don't need to watch this video per se if you don't have Packout, because some of these things, they have a version of it that will probably work with whatever tool system it is that you're using. So it's just an idea of something maybe you didn't know was an option for. But I do have some stuff for Dewalt. I also got some stuff that works with Nohlster or really any other belt clip that's out there. I got an accessory for my blower, but I just picked up several things, thought I'd share them with you. And again, this is just an idea to let you know that some stuff's out there that you can get 3D printed, possibly to work with your system and maybe help you out in your job. I will put chapters down below, so check that out if you want to skip around. Do whatever you want to with that, but let's go ahead and get into these. So one of the first sellers that I purchased from was the Imagine 3D shop, and I picked up this Packout rail. This is going to run you about $19, and it's essentially just two 3D pieces right here on the corners, printed out, and they fit around these rails here. And then it's a metal bar that goes across that screws in. They provide you with all the screws, all the holes are pre-drilled. Everything's taken care of. It was an extremely easy install. All you have to do is pry a peg here. It allows you to slide these rails down. You put these on, slide it back up, pop it into place. There are some screw holes here that you can actually, they provide you with some screws to screw it into the rail. I didn't do that. I didn't have to create any holes in my Packout, and I haven't had a problem with this moving up and down at all for me, one single bit. Now this would be really great for people who are using that as a stack, and and you have access to this at all times, because you could take something like your tools that have a belt clip on it, slide it right on there, gives you a place to hang it from, and along with whatever else that you want to hang from it, that you might use from time to time on a daily basis that you want quick access to. It would work really great for that. What I'm using it for in particular is I've got a lot of extra pouches that I like to use, but I don't want to have to keep them in a drawer in my truck that's premium space. This is a space in my truck that is basically I can't get to it very easily, or access isn't extremely easy for me. So I'm putting the things there that I might get out from time to time. I'm using my MP2X all the time now, a lot, but my MP1 is still something that I transfer tools over into and use. But I can clip this on here, slide that into place, along with my Occidental leather pouch. I use this with my knife, my pencil, and my tape a lot of times for drywall install, ceiling tiles, whatever it is. I can now clip that on there, and it will lock into place as well, along with just extra Joey pouches that I keep in my truck because I like to have several of these on me. So it's basically a place to keep all my pouches. And then as you can see here, I can now, whenever I slide my drawers into place in my truck, it kind of tucks them back in there in no man's land, where I can just reach my hand around there, pull these off whenever I need to use them, but they're out of the way and not taking up space in my drawers that I can now use for tools that I'm going to use on a more consistent basis. So that's the Packout rail. Again, it's going to run you about $19. I think it fits extremely well. So far, I've liked it. I've had no problems with it moving on me. I haven't felt like stuff wasn't secure on it. And again, it's working great for me, giving me storage in that space that was really worthless at the point in time. But I think it would be really useful for people who actually have access to this all the time, whether it's, again, on the dolly that's on your floor and you push it around like a stack, or whether you run a stack on the wheeled cart or whatever it is, you might want to look into getting one of these. So the next product I picked up is still from Imagine 3D shop, and it's a leaf blower nozzle adapter for my M18 blower. I picked this up. It runs you about $18. I got this so that I could get free shipping in his store. I think I had to be at $35. And I'd actually been kind of wanting some of this to make this a more compact blower for certain situations, because there's times where maybe you want to draw off your truck or something like that, and this makes you have to stay so far away from it and you don't have as much control. You feel like you might actually bump into the vehicle or whatever it is. I've also seen other people review this and say they like it because it lets them blow dry their dogs. So again, it's just an attachment. I picked it up as something to be useful to me. It's very easy to change out. You just press up on this lever here. That's going to allow you to pull out that stock nozzle that's part of the Milwaukee fuel blower. And then you have a tab on this nozzle attachment. You just line that up on the inside of your blower with that tab right there, and it just slides right into place and locks in. and then that gives you a much more compact blower that's more of the size of probably even my M12, and it just gives you a different fan type attachment to allow you to blow stuff. Again, this is primarily for drying off the truck or car after you wash it, something like that, but it's just nice to even have a smaller blower even to fit in the back of my truck at times. So I picked it up just to get the free shipping. I think it's going to be useful for me. I don't think it's crazy durable. If you dropped it, like if you dropped your whole blower and it landed on that, I'm not sure how well it would last, but for 18 bucks, I feel like it was a good pickup for me. So the next seller that I purchased from was Why He Designs. I don't know if that's how you say it or not, but you have probably seen his videos all over YouTube. He makes a lot of shorts along with long videos. So he's got Packout accessories for, you know, wall adapters, rail systems, whole entire systems that fit on Packout, along with other brands. He's got a lot of stuff, and more specifically, he makes some stuff for Nohlster, which is what made me buy these two products right here. This is a Nohlster clip holder that mounts onto your rail system, and it's two pieces that sandwich around the rail. You don't have to take your Packout apart. You don't have to do anything, and then the screws tighten up and hold it into place. And then I also bought some of the wall mount versions. So this one right here is going to cost you $12 for this rail mount one by itself. You can get a 4-pack of these wall mount ones for $13.99 or $14. They work with the Nohlster clips, so you can use it here. It snaps that right into place. But it doesn't really have to be a Nohlster clip. You can see there it's basically a slot. It just so happens to work with the Nohlster because it's made for that slot. But I can take my installation driver with this belt clip on there, slide that down in there as well. I can also use it for any other M18 tool. It works well for that, so I use this one in particular. It sits behind the headrest of my seat, so I don't normally put a drill in it, but I will put a tape measure or something like that in it every now and then. But for the most part, I bought these to clip onto my drawers, my handmade drawers in my truck. You can see here I've got one that I mount my tape measure on that has the Nohlster clip. I've also got one on my M12 Surge. Those are two tools that I grab all the time that I have the Nohlster on. So I wanted to have these brackets for that, and then I've got a few extra ones. I'm probably going to mount one of these on my ladder and then maybe some other ones somewhere else. But they work really well with the Nohlster in particular. Again, that's the same thing there as what this is. It locks it right into place. But again, you could use them with other things as well, just your regular belt clips and stuff like that. You might be able to get some that work just in general for whatever, for maybe a little bit cheaper. But if you've got the Nohlster and you also run other stuff, this allows you the opportunity to use the Nohlster in those places along with, you know, your regular belt clips as well. So that's why I bought them, because I use a combination of both. So the next seller that I purchased from was Garage & Order. I just got these. I haven't had these for very long, so I haven't really got them filled out exactly how I'm going to yet. But what these are they are bit holders for the Milwaukee Packout Slim Organizer, and also the Dewalt case. Now, if you've been watching the channel for very long, you know these are the cases that I've been running for quite some time. I had it all the way back in the How Do You Organize Your Organizer video. And these stay in a drawer in my truck. I've got one with drill bits, I've got one with driver bits, I've got just different things set up in these, and I really like them. But the more that I've gotten into Packout, I've always been looking for something along these lines. And again, these aren't things that I'm going to carry in every single job. I have bit holders, regular bit holders on my tool bags that I use for just common bits and things like that, or I have them in my screwdrivers. But these are things that I take in on big jobs that I can just sit down somewhere. That way, if I run into some bit, I know I can go over here and get it out of this, and it keeps me from having to swap around and inside of a bit holder and a screwdriver or whatever it is sometimes, or maybe I just need a longer bit, because mostly in those railers I only carry the short ones. So that's what these things are for me. So I got one that works with Milwaukee. Also got one that works with Dewalt, but let's go ahead and take a closer look at each one. So this Dewalt one's going to run you about $18. You can get this in multiple colors. I just got gray because it lets me see the bits a little bit better, but I think they've got red, yellow. He's got every color imaginable that you can get this printed into. And then there's also different variations of where you can get some bigger cups, smaller cups, less bits. There's all sorts of options out there. But what these work with are the Dewalt cases that are medium cases like this. I think the part numbers on these are DWAN2190. You can usually get them at Lowe's. They used to be $7. I don't know what they are now, because again, I've used several of these where I just open this up and gut them and then build my own system out of it. And it works really well. Now, I will say, whenever I first got it, I was a little bit down because there wasn't any way for this tray, in my opinion, to work inside of here without me modifying this case. and it didn't say anything about that, because this case that in particular is the first one that I grabbed that I was going to try it out in. This right here was solid in there, and I just assumed all of them was that way, so I thought, well, I've got to get in here and mod this. So I got out my oscillating tool, cut this down, and then it fits in there like it should. You know, it fits in there really good. It's snug all the way around all four corners, sets down in there really nice, but I still thought that kind of stinks that I had to modify the case, spend the time to do that. Well, then I started opening up all the rest of my cases, every single one of them but this one. This insert in the middle is removable, so apparently that must be an older style, and maybe the newer ones are like this. So just to let you know, you might want to look and see on your case. You might have to mod it if you've got an older one, or maybe you've got a newer one that has the middle insert that is removable. If that's the case, you won't have to do anything. But on the inside of this case, it basically has a long section. On this particular one that I got, again, there's other variations out there. These will hold 2-inch bits, so these are 2-inch bits here that I have in here. There's a 2-inch Milwaukee Phillips bit that fits in there. But these are a little bit hard, you know, to get your fingers in there. I wouldn't mind it if probably I just had a double one of these, even if it just held 2-inch bits still, just to give myself more room to stick my fingers down in there to grab those. But again, you can see you can build it out however you want to. All those bits can fit down inside of there. You got plenty of room for all sorts of bits. I don't know if you filled that up, I don't know what bits you put in there, because I've got, you know, 5 of certain ones of them, all sorts of things like that. Again, get you a flip socket, some bit holders, all those things in there. Then you can see those bits stick up about right in that general area. As I shut that, I can shut it, I can turn that case upside down. All those bits are touching the clear plastic here. I can shake it. They don't move on you. They won't move around. They won't fall out and go all over the place. So works pretty well, especially if you don't have to mod your case. And it's not a big deal to mod your case if you have to. It's just a matter of taking an oscillating tool and cutting that thing out of there. But I wish I had looked at all my other cases before, because I wouldn't have had to do that, because that black middle section, you can see it goes up inside of a groove right there. That would have slid right out. And I wouldn't have to do anything. So again, that's the Dewalt version for $18. He's even got some that fit those smaller cases of Dewalt, the tough stacks. But if you're in Dewalt, use these cases, you might want to look into getting this one. Next up, I have the Milwaukee version that fits the slim organizer. So whether you've got a single organizer or a double, I think you can put these in the double ones as well, because it's basically the same thing. It's just 2 of them with a center slot. And it's a tray that replaces 2 sections of your Milwaukee slim organizer cubbies like that. And here it is right here. You got, again, the same 2-inch stuff that I showed you on the Dewalt. They fit in there with a little bit of room to play, but it still is, again, hard if you've got fat fingers like me. Maybe to get in there to those, I would have rather probably got some that I had some that were a little bit bigger openings here. And then it's got a long slot in there, so just to give you an idea of how much room that you might have in there, I've got a right angle adapter, a 1/4 and 5/16 longer Malco, a bit driver from Milwaukee, a flip socket, and then I've got both of those flex torques from Dewalt. Again, this isn't what I'm going to put in here. I just had these in here to kind of show you guys how much room that center thing will hold. So you got enough room in there to fit yourself several long items in there. And then you got, again, several spots for small 1-inch bits as well. They are recessed down in there to where, again, if I take this and I shut this lid, if you can see in there, I don't know if you can see how close they are to touching. I can flip that upside down. I don't have it latched, but I can shake, and all the stuff is going to remain in the same place where it was whenever I shut the lid. So you could do a lot of things with this. They sell Packout cases like this now that you can open up and kind of do similar things and just put your own bits in here, but I don't think it's really necessarily as good as this right here. This is pretty easy to see your bits, to get them out. You could swap out this tray, these 2 trays here. I put some longer bits. I've got some step bits, some drill bits, but you could also take one of these cases that they have now, fill this up with whatever you want to, slide that in there, use that. Just depends on how you want to do it. It's just an opportunity to be able to build it however you want to. I like this. I kind of would rather have done something different here to give myself a little bit bigger space. But other than that, I think it's really good, and I think it's going to be nice for me to be able to slide this into my, Packout systems now in my truck for storage, and then I'm going to have all my impact bits there ready for me to grab whenever I need them, or to refill my railers or whatever it is that I need to use them for. This one's going to run you about $27. So again, it was $27 for the Milwaukee, $18 for the Dewalt, and the store's name is Garage in Order. So you might want to check these out if you're in either two of them systems and you use that for your bit storage. I think they're pretty good. Again, I've not had them for a real long time, but they seem to work like they're supposed to. They've got really good reviews. And that gets me to my last seller, and that is Print 3D Inserts. These are just organizer tags for the slim profile, single organizers for Milwaukee, and they're simple to install, very nice. They're all in this same font. You can get different colors, like you can get red background, white with white letters, multiple options on that. I wanted mine to be noticeable by me, but just not just standing out like crazy. And again, these are going to be super nice for me, because right now I've been storing these on top of my Packout drawers, and every time I go out there I can't remember which one's which. I end up pulling them all out to figure out which one that I need, whether it's my wall anchors, my wire nuts, or my crimps, or whatever it is. So now I have several of these. You can get them personalized to say whatever you want to. I want to say it was up to 20 letters. So I have one here for impact bits. So my new bit storage from Milwaukee. It's very easy to install. They just got two little tabs right here, and it just slides around there and kind of snaps in place. So you can even, if you decide later that you want to make this something else, move your impact bits over to something else, you can do that as well. Or just take these tags off and store them in a drawer until maybe you build another one. So I have one for impact bits, I have one for wall anchors, trim nails, crimps, and then I also got one as a joke for my wire nuts that says wire testicles, just for being something funny whenever I go into job sites. Somebody's going to see that and laugh about it, just to be funny, because that's, that's the fancy way of saying wire nuts, I guess. So $4.99 a piece. I think that's pretty cheap for these, and again, you can get them. Mine maybe don't look as visible because it's red on black, but that's purposefully because I can read it very easy, but I don't care that anybody else around from 20 feet away, whether or not they can read it or not, doesn't make any difference to me. I was afraid that the red on the outside would be like a little bit too much of a different color red and look weird, so that's why I didn't go red and white. But again, I think you can get green, you can get whatever. So if you want a first aid one, you could get one with green with white letters that says first aid. All sorts of options out there. $5 a piece. I don't think it's a bad deal. I'm really excited to have these, because now I'll just be able to walk to my truck and be like, well, I need some crimps. It's this one, instead of pulling this one down, seeing what's in it, pulling this one down, seeing what's in it. I know which one it is. It's easy for me to grab. So yeah, guys, that's all the accessories that I bought off Etsy in the last little bit. Again, they're useful to me because I have Packout and all those things, but just because you don't have Packout doesn't mean that there isn't something very similar out there that's 3D printed that someone else is selling that works with your Dewalt system, Flex, the new Tough Built stuff, whatever it is. I'm sure there's people already making stuff for that Tough Built stuff, even though it's new. So maybe this will at least give you an idea of, hey, I never thought about going and seeing if somebody's making bit storage for my rigid containers or whatever it is that you're using. So that's the idea behind this, just to give you all some ideas and know that 3D printing is an option. I'd like to really actually get myself one day and maybe learn how to do it, but right now I'm just willing to pay for it because I don't have the time to do so. But let me know in the comments below what you think about these, what's your favorite of the bunch. Also, if you've got anything that's like this or an accessory that you think I would really like and really enjoy, make sure and put that in the comments below as well. But again, I hope this was interesting. Hope it's useful. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next video.